Welcome to Behind the Smoke Podcast, Barbecue War Stories. My name is Sean Walchef with Cali Comfort Barbecue. We are recording above the Butcher Shop in beautiful Spring Valley. Butcher Shop is getting some upgrades, and we're here with my man Derek Marso from Valley Farm Market, sexing up the building. I love it.
We're actually fucking pretty close to being done. The stucco is up. They're touching up the paint right now, putting the awnings back on. Probably going to get the mural painted back on. Next week, we're going to... I didn't know how much fucking metal costs for roofing.
Yeah.
The metal that I had to put over the little inlets that we did, it's like $5,800.
Seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
So, got to put that on before the... I guess there's rain coming next week. So
really?
I got to get that on next week. But yeah, everything's been going good. The coolers are in. We're going to put the fascia up here probably in a couple weeks. But yeah, after this, I'm going to do the parking lot, re-asphalt the parking lot. And put a new gazebo by the barbecue shack. Then I'm fucking done for a little bit because, I mean, I don't know if this is something we need to talk about right now.
Not yet. It's coming soon. We're gonna have a big fucking announcement soon.
We're gonna have an announcement soon. So after my next few things, I'm gonna be done for a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, that's going to be really exciting. You guys tune in the next couple weeks. We got some huge news that we're going to announce, but we're going to do it in a behind the smoke kind of way. So that's exciting, but I think it's only appropriate if you introduce our guest today.
Well, I will. Growing up, I was fortunate to call this person a good friend of mine. We actually wrestled together in high school, and he's just become more of a brother. He's helped me in my weight journey. I have had a hard time after football losing the weight and getting motivated to work out again. And talking to Andy, kind of getting in there, he allowed working out to be fun again for me. So Andy Murad, welcome to the podcast. We appreciate you coming out. The owner of 10th Planet Jiu Jitsu in Spring Valley. Welcome, dude.
Thanks a lot, Derek. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
We're stoked because now I get to share the torture because Sean gets to come in and go to your classes too. So Sean goes to the classes 4 or 5 times a week and gets his ass kicked and having trouble walking today and yesterday.
I'd say 3-4 times a week.
Oh, that's kind of the best part. I mean, one of the things that I love about the podcast is we're not scared to talk about pretty much anything. And one of the cool things that Derek shared along this podcast journey is his struggle with weight. And I would be remiss to say that I haven't struggled myself with weight, and watching him go to 10th Planet and work out with you and start to eat healthy and start to drink water and start to, do his fasts. He's been an inspiration to me. And, working out's such a personal thing. It's something that, I played high school sports. I didn't play college sports like Derek. I didn't play in the NFL like Derek, but I have such a respect for working out. But when I go myself, I'll never fucking push myself as hard as that group mentality. And when you have a coach or a trainer and coming to 10th Planet, that's something that having Derek give me shit for not coming, or you give me shit for not coming, or when we're there getting pushed by Scott, getting pushed by you guys, it makes me better and it makes me feel good again. And, that's something part of, being a complete man, trying to be a little bit better every fucking day.
I think you hit the button too, is like, when Derek first came in, I think it was hard for him to know where he came from and to walk in there and start from the ground up.
Yeah.
That's not easy, even for me. There's times where I kind of let myself go, and everyone makes mistakes. But, the cool thing about it, it's like I'm here for you guys, but I know once I start messing up, once I start making bad decisions, Derek's the type of guy that's going to hold me accountable and say, hey, Andy, how come you're not taking care of yourself? So, at the gym, my favorite thing about the gym is that we all are there in it for each other. Now Derek is, from where he started to where he is, he's a pillar. He comes in there. A lot of people kind of, if they don't know what's going on, let's go look at Derek. Let's see what Derek's doing. He knows what he's doing, And also, he motivates everybody. Scott's cool. He's cool
when he comes on time.
Yeah, when he's on time. It's. He's a little late, but and Scott's another guy at the gym, and he's kind of Derek and Scott are probably always the ones that are ahead of the race. But Derek will motivate you. Derek will push you. Scott will talk shit to you. You know, and for me, I like both. You know, I like that guy that's going to talk shit to me and tell me, hey, man, you know, what are you doing with those light weights? With this and that, this and that. And when I hear that, it fires me up.
Sure.
Yeah.
This guy's not going to talk to me like that. Let me show him up.
Yeah.
So, and that's what's cool about it. You know, we're in there together.
Well, I think you touched on something that's important, is that when I first came in, it's a very humbling experience. You know, I think it was the second day you gave me bands, and you're like, well, you're just going to do this, and you're going to go into plank and go back a few times and go forward a few times. I was more mad at myself that day than I've been in a long time, because I couldn't do it. And it just reiterated how much I let myself go. Like, man, I could fucking run through that workout, no fucking problem, 10 years ago. And it's not because I'm older that I suck more. It's because I didn't fucking take care of myself. So doing those things, but it's either, what do you do with that fire that you have? Are you going to let that burn inside of you and be like, okay, and beat yourself up? Or are you going to use it and be like, I'm going to go get better. Every fucking day I'm going to go get better. I'm going to work out harder. I'm going to continue to do it. And like I told you when I first started, I'm like, I'm going to end up pushing Scott at some point. That's my goal, is to be part of the class and push people to do it, because sometimes people need that motivation. Sometimes it doesn't come across the right way sometimes, because we're deep into a Wednesday during bands, and you know that you just did the 10 reps that you asked us to do and the other person only did 6. But it's, you know, just getting there, motivating, being a part of something. And like Sean alluded to, I was notorious for getting a gym membership and going to work out. And okay, I'm going to do buys and tries today. And I'd go in and I'd get a good pump, and I'm like, oh. I had a little fucking,
that works.
I had a bead of sweat that was kind of going down my forehead. I'm like, I'm good. I'm done. That's a good workout today. And then you go to one of these classes, and I don't give a fuck who you are. Listen, I was a professional athlete. I played every level of sports. Some of these workouts are hands down the hardest workouts you're ever going to put yourself through. And it's not just about, you know, the weights you can lift and how heavy it is, but it's putting yourself in a compromising position where you have to use your core. You have to use everything that you're doing. And you start to feel better in everyday life. Like, I don't need to walk around where my shoulders are back and I fucking feel like I'm all like swole or anything. It's like, man, my whole body, my dexterity is getting better. Everything about it's getting better. That's what excites me, because for so long I was so caught up in, I mean, the most I ever bench pressed was 540 pounds.
Yeah,
that's a lot of
for a one
weight.
rep max.
Jesus.
And I was like so excited to do that. And when I would go to the gym, I would get on the bench and I would lift heavy again. Well, now going to the gym, I can't do that. And I feel so much better because my shoulders don't hurt. My dexterity is better. I'm more flexible. We're doing things. We're doing fucking, like today, we're doing fucking backwards bear crawls and like all this shit that's just not about really getting like your shoulders cut and built. It's just about your whole body together. And you know, I can't thank you enough for allowing your gym to have an atmosphere to where it's fun, because how intimidating is it for somebody to walk in that's never done martial arts or anything like that, to walk into a gym being like, everyone can fucking whoop my ass in here, but it's so inviting in your gym and you create an atmosphere where people want to come. So kudos to you for doing that, because that's something that's really hard, and that's probably something you have to get past for people to want to come into your gym.
I can't tell you, man. I'm going to tell you a story, and I think you remember this day, but I can't tell you how much I love what I do. I think, and I genuinely mean this, is that if and I think I put a post on Facebook or on Instagram a while ago, but I really meant it. Like, man, if I hit the lottery, you know, I wouldn't retire. I would just keep doing what I'm doing for free, because I really, really enjoy helping people. You know, from when I was young to now, and it just, if I can help change someone's life, even if I can get them in the right direction, man, it's the greatest reward to me. And like, I mean that from the bottom of my heart, man. Is every day throughout my day, I'm always just looking for a way to help someone out, and that's just kind of what makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it makes you feel good because you struggled with weight growing up, and that you figured out a way to motivate yourself, so you know how you used to feel and now how you feel, and you kind of just want others to feel that way?
100%, man. When I was really young, like in grade school, I didn't have friends. I was stuck inside the house. I was just a little fat kid, you know. I wasn't really. My parents were really all about business, and they were always running their businesses. So they never took me. They weren't very involved in my life. I know they loved me, but they weren't involved. I never got to do sports, you know. But I was into fighting. I loved it. I did karate for a little bit when I was a kid, and then when I made it to high school and I started wrestling, I realized that there's more to me that I never tapped into. And nobody ever helped me find that except for Coach Clotter.
Right.
You know, he was hard on me, but he helped me find something in myself that I never knew was there. And once I found that person that I could be, I wanted to do that for everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? I wanted to be.
You want to share the gift that you got given.
100%, man. And it's kind of like, honestly, it makes me emotional just to think about the way my life was and what wrestling did for me. And it's not so much just wrestling, just taking care of myself, you know? And the quality of life is just so much better. Right. I'm just so much more happier being healthy, being out there doing things rather than just being stuck in this bubble, you know, and just continuing the cycle of not taking care of yourself and then thinking that you're not worth it. You know, you're not worth the effort. Why? What are you going to do? What are you going to accomplish? You know?
Was it during wrestling that you decided that you wanted to continue and pursue your career as a professional athlete?
Did
that happen later?
It was kind of, you know, I wanted to wrestle in high school. I mean, I wanted to wrestle in college. It was something that I wanted to do after high school, but I didn't have that outlet. You know, we don't have any college wrestling in San Diego besides Palomar. And I knew my parents weren't going to let me leave San Diego. They wanted me to kind of help with the family business. So I said, okay, you know, I'll stick around. And then one day, my friend, Omar and Randy, invite me over to their garage. And they introduced me to jiu-jitsu, you know, and they're like, hey, you know, it's kind of like wrestling and we do this stuff. And then, you know, I found a new outlet for what I love to do. And I remember before I did this, I used to think, like, I remember watching the UFC and like, oh, that's stupid, you know. Jackie Chan and Jet Li would definitely beat these guys down. You know, these guys have nothing on them, you know. But then I got into it, man. I just fell in love with it, you know. And what's crazy as this time went by is I kind of started falling away from grappling. And I really started developing this passion for kickboxing.
Well, didn't you? Your Muay Thai is really what you're known for, in your kickboxing, right? So we got the reason. If you guys are watching, that Andy's wearing his Covenant wings and his tutu, but he comes out. He's actually known as the Tooth Fairy, and he gets to fight this weekend for the WBC World Title. The title.
Yeah. So anybody listening to this, if you're in Burbank, come out to this event because I'm going to be out there. Derek would be if he wasn't at a wedding.
I have a wedding. I'd love
but Eric, my GM, who just started working out, we're both going to be out there. So if you're in Burbank, if you're in LA, buy tickets. We'll put links in the show notes. But
yeah, but we you know, it's something that it's really cool for a guy like me to see, is that you've taken this passion and now you're fighting for a fucking world title. And it's like you said, it's like you had this passion for wrestling, but that just kind of lit a fire in you for something else. And now you do the kickboxing. And just so you guys know, Andy and I wrestled in high school. I went to a gym one time and he kicked me one time. And I would imagine at a 20% of what he can really do for a kick. And literally, like, almost my leg, I think, was black and blue. I mean,
really?
This guy, he kicks so fucking hard. I don't wish it upon anybody.
Like Karate Kid?
It's,
in my defense, I don't think I meant to kick that hard. I was hoping.
You were trying to show him up?
No.
Derek probably talked some shit beforehand, I'm sure.
No.
Knowing Derek.
Derek's always been a sweetheart.
He's a big bear.
But yeah, so that title is pretty fucking
Tell us about
rad.
the event.
Well, the title, the WBC, just so you guys know, is like there's two belts. There's so many belts out there in boxing and in Muay Thai. And then Muay Thai is just, it's a name of the type of kickboxing I'm doing. It's out of Thailand. It originated in Thailand, but it's gotten really big. So the WBC is the largest sanction. So you have all these belts in boxing, but if you get that WBC belt, then you're the man.
That's the one.
That's the one that you want to have. Well, the same thing with Muay Thai. There's a lot of belts out there in Muay Thai, but the WBC belt is the most recognized worldwide. That's a belt you want to have.
This is a title defense?
I'm fighting somebody that has a title. Yeah.
So he has the title. He's defending his title, and you're trying to take it.
Charles Bissette's defending his title.
Wow.
Yeah. He's from Canada.
Do they do odds on these fights?
You know, I've never really got into the betting.
I'll
never really
check
explored
it out.
it. Yeah, well,
I'll look into it.
Yeah, fuck. I just know it's gonna. If there is odds, I'm gonna fucking wager something. So
this whole event, there's going to be all different types of Muay Thai? Is it all
Well,
Muay Thai?
there's gonna
Or
be
is it
it's
mixed
all Muay
martial
Thai.
arts?
It's all Muay Thai.
Okay.
Yeah. There's gonna be probably about maybe 8 amateur fights, and then 4 pro fights. I know they have some kind of amateur tournament. It's a big event. You know, you're gonna see people from all over the world there. This is a huge event.
You've qualified to get there, or how did you get?
I
this title?
have. I've actually fought for the WCK title a long time ago, and it's the same organization that I'm fighting in that's hosting this title. Not to get you guys confused, but basically, I've fought. What was I can't even remember what year. It was such a long time ago. I already fought for the same exact belt.
Mm-hmm.
The guy that I fought carried the WCK and the WBC belts. It was a really, really close fight. And I feel like I won 4 out of 5 rounds. I think a lot of people would have agreed with that. One of the judges gave it my way 4 out of 5 rounds, but I don't know. The other 2 judges, I have no idea what they were watching. But you know, I mean, that's the way it goes, you know. And sometimes I'll watch fights and I'm like, maybe he did win that round. So, but for the most part, I fought for this belt about 5-6 years ago, and when I lost, I was so pissed off about the decision. I kind of stepped back a little bit, and focused back on MMA just because that's where I started. You know, even though I loved Muay Thai, I had already had so many MMA fights. But recently, you know, I really want to create a legacy for myself. I've dedicated so much time to doing this, and I think having that title, there's nothing more in this world that I want than that title. So,
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you're working out with Randy, and you're starting to find a love for jiu-jitsu, starting to do Muay Thai. When did the gym aspect and like wanting to own a gym come about?
Well, it's after Randy, you know, I ended up in a jiu-jitsu school, and then I knew I wanted to fight. I heard this name, Dean Lister, and back in the day, you know, he was a big name.
Yeah,
Right.
big time.
Yeah. So
He's been out to Cali for fight night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's been around, and for the first 3 years of my fighting career, I was with Dean Lister. So I kind of found out he was at City Boxing. I walked into that gym, and I just remember the first time I walked into the gym, so many thoughts went through my head. And one thing I said to myself, and I remember saying to myself, I said, one day I'm going to have a gym just like this of my own.
Really?
And that was the first day I walked in. I said, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
That's rad.
Yeah. So, you know, I went through a lot, been through a lot from that point, you know, like a lot happened, you know, and it's a long story, but, you know, I eventually left that gym. Dean opened up another gym, and I was at Undisputed, and I made some friends at Undisputed. I want to say 2012, I opened up my first gym. This was maybe 6-7 years after I got into fighting.
And that was in El Cajon,
Yeah.
right? And it was a nice gym. It was a cool little gym. I went there a few times, and it was pretty cool. It had like a glass front, you can kind of see in it. You had a big boxing ring, some weights. Was Randy?
Did you go there when it was on Magnolia and Main Street?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, that's when we moved. When I bought into the gym, we relocated. Randy wasn't involved. It was. Am I allowed to talk shit about somebody?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is behind the smoke.
Yeah, it was me and this. I hope he's watching, man. It was me and this piece of shit named Stu. Yeah.
Don't do business with Stu or Howard.
Yeah. Stu's working at Boomers now, but anyway.
Good for him.
You made it.
No, long story. I
fucking
opened
made
up this gym, man, and I'll tell you guys, man, I put so much hard work into this gym, and you know, it was an awesome gym, and we had such a good area. The landlord hooked me up with a great lease, you know, but I just had this partner that had some problems with drugs and was stealing, and it got to the point where, what am I going to do? You know, sue this guy? He wouldn't sell his shares to me, so finally I said, all right, look, just buy me out, have the gym to yourself, let me go do something else. And at the time, Randy got burned out with this guy. He wasn't a partner in the gym, but he was running his own business inside of the gym.
Right.
He had his personal training business. So, you know, that's when I opened up one training center. I took off. You know, a year later, this guy goes out of business. They found out that he was paying his employees in coke, just all sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah, this guy, man, he's just the worst of the worst. He got caught cheating with his general manager, his wife found out. Eventually, he gets a sexual harassment lawsuit. It was just a big mess. But anyway, I mean, I put that behind me, and we opened up this one training center. And after a year or two, we wanted to see what we could do to make it better. And we hooked up with 10th Planet, and it turned out to be a really good decision.
So is 10th Planet's a franchise?
Yeah,
it's a franchise. The guy that runs it in San Diego, or let's say the person in charge of it, his name's Boogie Martinez. He's a very, very decorated practitioner in jiu-jitsu. Him and this guy, Bill Crawford's been in the business for a while. Bill actually started out the boxing club a long time ago. He started the franchise, sold it off. They came in and put in their business plan. Where I struggled a little bit was running the front desk. I was bouncing back and forth, and sometimes my kind nature gets the best of me, and I give things away. So these guys came in and said, "Hey, look, I'll tell you what, Andy, let us take care of this, and you do what you're good at," and that's running the classes, and that's kind of what happened.
Yeah,
that's good. I mean, sometimes it's a humbling thing to have to realize what you're good at and what you're not good at. For me, we do that here in the store. It's like, man, I can do it. I'm not saying I can't do it, but it's not my best, and I don't really enjoy doing it. So let's get someone else that can do that for me. And it's helped me grow a lot. But with 10th Planet, I mean, you guys have some of the best jiu-jitsu guys there too. I mean, with Muay Thai and then boxing. PJ, did he just win another? He just won another tournament. It was a team tournament. We kind of like how you have like a team dual tournament for wrestling. Yeah. It was like they're doing the same thing for jiu-jitsu. Okay.
But, we were just talking about it in our meeting yesterday, man. It's like you hear about all these schools in San Diego, and there's so many jiu-jitsu schools out there in San Diego, but nobody is doing what we're doing as far as competition goes. Like every day, every week we have tournaments that we're winning, this and that. And what that says is just for the general practitioner that maybe doesn't want to compete is that, when you come to our gym, you're training with the best and you're learning from the best.
Well, even with fucking Jacob, dude. Yeah. Watching that motherfucker get around people. He's just the smallest guy, but he just wraps these guys up so
Jake
quick.
the Snake, that's his nickname. Yeah.
He's no joke. He's no joke. It's just, but it's good. I mean, even with Tiger and Prince there for boxing, it's the best of the best at that gym.
Something you guys might not know about Tiger is he's actually in the Boxing Hall of Fame, and he has his own, I don't know what the date is, but his birthday is actually a holiday in the city of San Diego.
Is it really?
Yeah, and he actually got the key to the city from the city of San Diego.
Really?
Or from the mayor of San Diego a while ago, yeah. Oh. Yeah. He was famous for being controversial about...
Tiger controversial?
Yeah.
Don't believe it.
Yeah, well, he was known for smoking before his fights and somehow magically passing these tests.
Like smoking like Vlade Divac? Smoking cigarettes or smoking blunts?
Smoking blunts. He was open about it, so...
before weed was legal.
Yeah, and he's like, he has all sorts of world titles. He's has 7 titles, so he's an amazing trainer, and we got a good team, man. We have a lot of people that are very passionate and they're very good at what they do. We're good at what we do, we're good at teaching what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, one of the things we talked about earlier is it is intimidating, for someone like me that I've loved sports my whole life. I love fight night. I love boxing. I love MMA. I love UFC. Yeah. But not having a fight background, not having a wrestling background, for Derek to be, hey, come over to this fucking MMA gym, and do Muay Thai or do jiu-jitsu. It's like, well, fuck. That's not who I am. And so me going out there, having someone like you that's as welcoming as you were to me, as well as to Eric, who came along also, and Victor's made it out there. Yeah. The only way that you've also had some friends that have come and haven't made it either.
Yeah, Josh connection. He made it about 5 days. I was giving him
shit yesterday about that. Mm-hmm. But either way, I mean, I think one of the best parts that I like is the competitiveness that you support each other, and it allows us to go and work on our body. For us, finding people that. Just this podcast allows us to go and talk to other people to help develop our mind for what other kinds of things they're doing in business, what they're doing as entrepreneurs, what they're doing in media, what they're doing as gym owners. For us going to this gym, we feed off of each other. I feed off of the fact that I know Derek's going to give me a hard time if I don't make it. And that's just Derek. That's not just you. That's not just Scott. And then I feel like I'm letting myself down. And that environment is something that we see with our barbecue events. So when we're up in Del Mar, every team, they're feeding off of each other because it's that environment that we all crave. It's that hard work that you're going through mentally and physically, and then you feel like, now I've actually accomplished something. And you accomplish more when you're uncomfortable. We talk about that a lot on this podcast, is you have to be willing to be uncomfortable and go there and essentially be like, dude, all I care about is developing a habit that's a positive habit. And all I care about is coming back. Andy can fucking yell at me and say, hey, go pick up, 25s and you can curl those 15 times. I'm like, I'm going to get 15s as long as I keep coming back and I finish my sets. And those are the things that I care about. And I see that you care about them, which makes me want to bring more people to the gym.
100%, man. To kind of backtrack on what you're saying too, is like, when you guys come in and you accomplish all these things, I want you guys to also see, and I want everybody in my class to see that the difference between me and you, there is none.
Mm-hmm.
Because I struggle, just like you struggle. The cool thing about it is when you guys come into the gym, we struggle together as a team. And we're all working our way up towards a common goal. It doesn't have to be the same goal, but we're all working together towards that same common goal. Like, hey, before the fight, I don't care who I'm fighting. I get nervous. Right? It's not like I walk in there and I just think, oh, man, this is not. And look, man, I got a lot on the line. I got to think about a lot of things. I really want this belt, man. I really want this belt more than anything. And that caused a lot of nerves. For you to walk into the gym and really not know what to expect, and for you to be able to come through that, takes a lot. But after you do it over and over and over, it gets easier and easier and easier, and you become stronger and stronger and stronger. So that's just kind of like what I want for you guys. I want you guys to know that anything that I can do, you guys can do,
Yeah, it's for me, for football, I think people have this misconception that, we go out and we just want to, we'll bang heads and we'll fucking crush people. I would throw up before games. I would literally throw up before games.
Really?
I would have to get myself to calm down a little bit because I'm not very good. When I'm emotional, I'm not as good of a football player as I was when I was really calm. So if I'm real emotional, going up and down, getting pumped up, going crazy, my coach would not want to put me in because he knew I was just going to break through the line and fucking do something where they'd run a trap play and the ball goes right next to me and I don't fucking see it. But when I'm calm and I'm collected, I was a lot better, but I had to get myself there. So those nerves and stuff, they'll get you going and I'd have to calm myself down so I can be hypersensitive to exactly what I'm doing, what I've been taught during training and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's good for you. And I think it goes back to you talking about you being nervous shows a vulnerability that you have. And the vulnerability allows people like us to know that you're human, and it makes the environment even better. Then we want to go in there because it's like, well, Andy knows the struggle. He gets it. You don't hold yourself where like, oh, I'm better than you. And, no, I'm just the same. And we all struggle together and, shit's tough and whatever. Like, let's we'll go at it together. And misery loves company. I mean, let's all get together and fucking, like I said, I talk about it on the podcast and you probably haven't heard it before, but like I literally had to let myself submit to you because it was a thing where it was like, well, I can do this. And it's like, well, no, I come here for a fucking hour and I don't want to leave and not have to wring my shirt out. I can not want to when I first start because I'm fucking like, oh, I got to get going. But literally, I wasted a day if I can't wring my shirt out full of sweat, Yeah. So it's like, look, I don't have much time for myself, and that's the time that I'm choosing to do. So look, I'm submitting. You tell me to do fucking goddamn burpees and squats like we did today and all that. Like,
fucking bear crawls.
Bear crawl. Like, let's go.
What's funny, man, is like, let's talk about Scott real quick. Mm-hmm. He's starting to, not to hurt his feelings. I don't know if he even listens to this, man. Now, I like Scott, so I hope I don't hurt his feelings. But, he's starting to put himself on a pedestal. And during the class, the reason why I did the last 3 minutes the way I did is because he keeps saying, what's next? Right. What's next? And I'm sitting in my head and think, oh, you don't think I can give you more? you think you're all of a sudden you could just do anything now, buddy?
Right.
So towards the end, I gave him a taste of what he can't stand.
Right.
Just that nonstop workout.
He hates when we do bands and you do it timed. Yeah. He'll look at me like, fuck. this time shit, because we push ourselves hard, and if we have to do it for a fucking minute, it's like you tell us to do 15 reps, me and him will look at each other and we'll like literally we'll go those 15 reps as hard as we can real quick. But then you're like, do that for a minute. And you're like, oh fuck, and we can't not go that same speed because then we're a bitch, right? And I'm like, okay, but I mean, literally just pouring out his sweat.
You saw him at the end of class.
Yeah,
he was so proud, this and that. But I got to break him at the very end of class. He sat down on a chair and he kept his mouth shut. I was kind of getting a little mad at him today because he was giving you a hard time, but
I like getting a hard time. Like I said, all I give a shit about is coming back, being the stubborn fucker.
So knowing what you know now, in doing what you've done, and I know a lot of education comes from experience and the stuff that you've experienced, but how would you do things different when it comes to business? What would you do? Like if there's anyone out there saying, okay, I think I want to do a gym, or I really love the sport and I really get because there's a lot of people out there that, want to help others. And they think it's, or they want to be a personal trainer or this or that. It's like, it's not that easy just to go do those things. But what advice would you have for other people that want to do something like that?
Get into the gym business?
Yeah.
I think what I've learned is that, people have been around for a while. Everyone's getting smarter and smarter. So, when somebody actually cares about you and is genuine, and when somebody's just full of it. And I think a lot of my success has just come from being genuine. If you're, I don't know if you can apply that to every business, but I know in this business that, especially in San Diego, there's so much competition out there. Everybody has their own little personal training studio. Everybody has his gym. I think what has helped me set myself apart from other people is that I've been genuine. And anybody that wants to get into this business, I welcome them. I want them to. I feel like this is a great thing and it's a great service for people, but you have to be genuine. And if you want to grow, the best way to grow is organically, which I mean is like from the inside out. You bring that one person in there and you show them that you care about them. You show them that you're genuine. That person is going to do the same for you. They're going to return the favor, just like what you guys do for me. Like the best members, the members that stick around, are the ones that you guys bring. Like Eric, he's there every day. He's a trooper.
Yeah, I'm super proud of him. Yeah. I didn't think that he would have the fucking nuts to be able to hang the way that he has, and he keeps coming back no matter how much shit we give him. But he's told me himself he's felt the change as a man. Just he let himself go, and now he's feeling the competitiveness of knowing that we're gonna give him shit if he doesn't come, and then he does come, and he's texting me, "Where the fuck are you?" And I mean those are the things that you take for granted until you get into that group dynamic. And when you get in the group dynamic and you get in the coaching, it's been a long time since I've actually had somebody coaching me. And I mean, that's one of the reasons Derek and I became as close as we did, is we care about youth sports. I mean, some of the best friends that we have today are kids that we grew up playing, football with, basketball with, Derek wrestling, me playing tennis. And we learned on the field. We learned through failure. We learned through losing. We learned through getting knocked down, getting scraped up, but knowing that, hey, we're going to get up and we're going to fucking have a good time. Some of the best times we had were not even playing the sport itself, but getting on the bus to go to the sport. I mean, some of the fucking funniest times I've laughed, almost died laughing, was on, a team bus.
Yeah. No, it's good to hear you talk about, kind of the inside out approach on business. We get so caught up in instant gratification. We're in this world where we want 1,000 members and we want them all coming in all the time. And to understand that it's a process, and it's that much more rewarding when you do start to get that return customer, and you do, because you know what you're doing is right. We implement the same thing in business here, where it's not, I don't need 1,000 or 10,000 or 30,000 followers. The process is what you really enjoy. When I look back now, and sometimes you don't understand it when you're in it, but I look back at some of the best times I've ever had in sports and business or whatever it is, it's the grind. It's really, truly just that grind, because sometimes the final championship, we won the Big 12 championship in 2003 at Kansas State. And as great as that was, it was the first time ever happened in school history. That season, grinding that out, the things that we did to get to there, was more rewarding for me than the actual day of the trophy. It was cool. That night was actually really cool. And, we had a lot of fun. But just you look back and it's like the process is what you really love. And again, you don't always get it when you're in it because you can't see it. But that's what you're going to look back at. And for you as a gym owner, saying, okay, like sometimes those times with the 2 people in a class or 1 person in a class, that's like the best times you're ever going to have. It's not just the class of 100 people,
Yeah, I mean, it's the one-to-one. And, for Derek and I, just this podcast, it's not about how many people are listening. If one person's listening to the podcast and they send us a DM and say, thank you for talking about barbecue, talking about business, talking about, being a father, talking about all the shit that we've covered in 73 episodes, for us, it means the world. It means the absolute world to us that actually impacted somebody and that they care enough to listen. And it's so fucking cool for Derek and I that we find people like you and we gravitate towards people like you that are in business, that are doing things because you're doing things for the right reasons. You're doing things for the right reasons. And Derek's a feel guy. Like, I've been with him for 10 years doing all different kinds of events. And if it doesn't feel right, you can fucking forget about it. Derek, he's transparent. He's going to tell you right the fuck exactly how he feels and exactly how he wants it. And if he feels like you're being shady, or he's just going to say no, and he's out. And that's one of the things that I love about him is that he's just not going to take any bullshit.
Well, I like it because I don't have to remember anything. Like, I don't have to
you don't have to analyze it.
Well, I don't have to overanalyze. And the thing is, like, I don't have to like sit here and say like, oh, what did I tell this person? What did I tell that person? Like, if it just doesn't feel right, it just doesn't feel right. And it's okay. It's not right or wrong. It's just not for me. That specific thing just didn't work for me. So when people want to push products on me and they're very aggressive, and I'll tell them straight up, like, I'm just going to let you know right now, I'm not going to take your product in. Yeah. Just because it doesn't feel right. And the way you are, it doesn't, it's not what I like. And with my customers, what I want to give them is a true, authentic product. We talked about it yesterday with Russ Murphy, and my goal is to be able to give out the best product I know how to at the cheapest price where I can still make a living. And I don't need to take advantage of people. I don't need to do anything else like that, but I need to stand behind the products. So the products that I bring in, I truly fucking care about. So when I go to these packing houses and I travel all the time and, I'm in Oklahoma or Wisconsin or Iowa checking out different cattle, it's because I fucking care. And the packing house, Greater Omaha that I use, the owner, I sit down and talk with him. It's the feel that we get together that I can see that he truly cares, and it makes me care that I know I'm giving out a phenomenal product and this fucking guy cares. It's easy. Yeah. It just makes it easy for me. For my pea brain mind, for whatever reason, it just works for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's, something I talk about it a lot, but the Defiant Ones on HBO documentary, I highly, highly recommend people checking out. But Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre talks about, if it didn't feel right, he just wouldn't do it.
It's funny, you guys, like, listening to you guys kind of makes me think about one thing. I talked about that guy, Stu, but, I got into this business, and I'm sure you guys got into the business that you're doing, maybe, for the right reasons. Mm-hmm. And you guys developed that passion, but you never really, and I think Stu, that's kind of where he fell apart, is he got into a business that he really didn't know too much about. He had a little bit of involvement, and he dabbled in it, but he saw one person making money, and he's like, oh, well, there's a lot of money in this. Let me just jump in, and I want to get on the wagon too and make money, because that's all he saw. But, just from my experience, is it just watching you guys, watching people around me, is that when you're passionate about what you do and you put your heart into it, it's kind of hard to fail.
Yeah.
Like when you really love what you do, you're going to find a way to go. There's times where I was in the gym, and I remember one point where before I hooked up with 10 Planet, I fought 3 times in 3 months, and these were high-level fights. Luckily, I won all 3. But I fought in Michigan. I fought at Saquon. I was in a high level. Saquon, Michigan, and then I came back to fight at Bellator at the Honda Civic Center.
Okay.
Oh,
right?
wow.
And I did that in 3 months. And I put my body through. And I did that all just to keep the gyms open, just to keep the lights open.
Yeah.
Just to get a paycheck.
Yeah. And I was okay with it because I just kept problem solving.
Yeah.
You know, I knew I was doing something wrong. It got to a point where, you know, the landlord hits me up. He's like, hey man, you're late on your rent. Like, things weren't peachy all the time, you know?
Fuck no.
Yeah. And I had to make things work. And, you know, like, I could have just bent over because I was so in love with what I was doing. I was eager to find a way to make it work. I knew I had something. I knew I was good at one thing. And, you know, through that strife, through that struggle, I was able to keep it alive. You know, I found the answers I needed to find, and I kept on going. Whereas somebody that, you know, just coming in looking for the money, oh, yeah, it's not working out.
Yeah. We've talked about it before.
Yeah.
I mean, the restaurant, I wouldn't be as confident as I am today if I didn't go through 10 years of fucking hell trying to keep that restaurant open on Troy Street. I mean, Cali Comfort, we had so many times where we were sued, where we were fighting to just pay our rent, to be able to figure out how to pay our payroll, figure out how to get better terms with our vendors. But it was through all those struggles that we learned, but we loved our craft. Like no matter what, we wanted to keep that restaurant open. And we did whatever the fuck we had to do to keep it open, to the point where now we understand a lot of the business stuff that we didn't understand when we first opened it. You know, and those are the things that's the growth, that's the struggle, the pain that you have to go through, where you're fucking can't sleep at night because you just don't know how am I I'm going to fail. If I don't figure this out, I'm going to fail. And then I'm going to have to close the doors. And I don't want to fucking close the doors.
Find your passion, follow it. I mean, it's cliche, and then people, you know, talk shit on it, but you can find your passion in pretty much everything you do. So you figure out what it is that's making you money and you can go do it, but find a passion in that and hold on to it and just really double down on it, you know, get after it, because at the end of the day, you got to be able to wake up and know, you know, for me, I'm very passionate about numbers, and it sounds fucking funny and whatever. But my mind works.
Who says it's funny?
My mind works in numbers. And so business, it wasn't always something I thought I wanted to do, but once I got into it and I really found the passion, because I love, you know, the barbecue, the foods, everything like that. And I figured out how I can get into the number side of it. And I was like, oh shit, this is what I was like, this is what I need to do is it numbers. And then doing that, those are the fun times I can have and like figure out like where I can, you know, capitalize and monetize on different things. And, that for me, it's like really intriguing. It's like I fucking like won something. Like sometimes I'll be sitting in my desk and I'm like, oh shit, that's fucking that'll work out perfect. Exactly what I fucking, you know, I cracked the code. So figure out what it is that you like and do it. And you know, I truly feel that, you know, I was put on this earth to help and serve others, and the platform that we've created has allowed me to be able to do that, where I can serve the community, I can help other people, I can do stuff and be of service to others. And that's probably the most fulfilling thing that I have in other than my family and my wife and kids. But that's really what drives me. It's just being able to be a service to others in the community and be someone that they can feel that they can come talk to and stuff. That's biggest reward I get out of what I do.
How do you feel as a dad and fighting and your son and raising your son? I mean, just last
and daughter.
Yeah, and daughter. Just last Saturday, having, you know, your family at the gym. It's something that for Derek and myself, you know, my son, I bring him to he hasn't missed a barbecue championship since he's been alive. So, you know, bringing him in and bringing him part of the business, I mean, it's just natural for me. And to see you having your son and daughter and wife, you know, at the gym, it's something that it's hard to separate business and personal life.
You know, it's cool. It's hard to separate it, but it's also pretty cool to put it together.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And I say that because, man, I used to get so pissed off at my dad. He would always take me over to the pizza shop. And, man, I don't want to be here. And I'm like running around with dough and I had no idea what the hell I was doing. I was just, you know, I was
like any family business.
Yeah.
You're a young kid and you're wondering, why the fuck am I working?
No
one else is working.
I wanted it. So you know, if I wasn't at the pizza shop, I was at home calling the pizza shop, ordering pizza, you know? So but then I didn't realize while I was there, man, how much I was learning. And it was involuntary. I was just sitting there just, you know, and a lot of the things that my dad kind of did around me, being around my dad and just seeing him in action. I learned so much from him, and I'm so grateful for it. If you guys don't know, man, I'm coming up on like my dad's 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
He passed about a year ago.
Sorry to hear that.
It's okay, but when I lost him, I just really began to realize how much I learned from him. And with my kids, I want to be a big part of their lives. But when I can't be a part of their lives, I want them to be a part of my life, and to learn from what I'm doing, to see how I struggle, and to see what I have to go through to make their lives better. So I think it's great, man. The family time, I make time for the family, and when I can't make time for the family hangs out with me at the gym.
Yeah.
And they pick up on things. My wife brings them into the classes. It's great. As far as fighting goes, I wouldn't mind my son maybe getting into the gym business.
Yeah.
But he's definitely going to get into a soccer league, and he's going to deal with fighting. Yeah.
I feel the same way about football. Yeah, it's like I won't. I'm not going to stop them when they're in high school if they want to play. They're never going to play before then. I don't have any of my All-American accolades or anything on the walls. I'm going to put up one. We're doing a 1,100 square foot addition to my house. I'm going to put up one of my accolades, and it's the only one that I'm going to put up, and it's a commissioner's honor roll. And it's just about education, and it's just to show them that it's not about. I was gifted enough to be able to get a full ride scholarship, but the things that I hold dearest is that I was a student athlete and I was on the honor roll in college, coming from a kid that was in Spring Valley, that didn't go to school, that didn't show up, that didn't participate in the class, and had a learning disability and didn't understand how to put everything together, that I can go to college and get straight A's and do those things. That's what's most important, and that's what I'm most proud of. And that's what I want them to see and be a part of. So,
I agree 100%,
it's exciting,
man. Too.
It's really exciting.
Like, I think as professional athletes, we see what we put ourselves through, and then when we peak, we realize, like, man, we don't want to put our kids through that same shit. I don't want my son to lose brain cells or whatever it is. I don't know how I'm gonna, I might be brain dead in about 10, 15 years and not even know it. And I don't want that for my kid. And another thing too is, like, just looking at the way the world is and how fast it's growing is like, man, education, we're getting so much smarter, so much faster, that you got to be on top of that. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
So this fight you got coming up on Saturday is at 200 pounds, right? The
190.
190.
Yeah.
So you got about 15 pounds to cut, which is, if you guys don't know, Andy is a few hours of work for him. He's cut a lot more before, but we're definitely excited to see how this goes. And I personally wish I could be there. I have a prior obligation for a wedding, but Sean's going to be up there.
I'll be up there. Eric will be up there.
Yeah, we would like for everybody who is in the area to look at the show notes, get the link, buy tickets, come watch a brother of mine and Sean's, fight his heart out. I know, win or lose, you always know Andy's going to give his best. So whatever it is, he's going to leave it on the table. So we're excited to see what he does. Do you want to do
we've got a social shout out this week. So people interacting with the show, sliding into our DMs, hashtagging Behind the Smoke. This is coming from outlawbbq_MN. We appreciate him. He on Instagram, he's just a man who loves barbecue and trucks, trying to get out of trucking and into barbecue full time. Team Barbecue Warriors out of Coon Rapids, Minnesota. So he hit us up and said he loves the podcast, loves the fact that we talk about business and all the shitty stuff that happens behind the scenes. Also wants us to talk a little bit more about catering. We do have a catering episode that's coming up. We're going to have the CEO of Picnic People on in a couple weeks. Lisa Richards, she's a badass, and she's been running a very successful catering company here in San Diego. So we're going to dig deeper into how to put on an event of big scale, medium scale, big scale, how to make a catering menu. But Paul Big Pike, you're our winner. You're going to get a Behind the Smoke mug. I'm also going to send you some catering resources, but I suggest that you update your Gmail. So if you have a Gmail that is Behind the Smokes rated, you probably need to update that. His Gmail's dumptrucker69 at pv.net@gmail.com.
I have some pretty old dumb ones.
So we're going to need to update that. Maybe go something with like an outlawbbq@gmail.com, and that'll help your catering business grow. But thank you for listening to the podcast. We're also going to go hit up Flynn Springs later this week. Go see Andy.
Oh, yeah.
Grand Ole Barbecue y Asado, Flynn
Flynn
Springs.
Springs location.
So that'll be next week's episode, and then we'll get a Behind the Smoke meetup too. If you're interested, if you're in Spring Valley and you're interested in joining the gym and coming to get your ass kicked
anywhere around El Cajon, La Mesa,
La Mesa. Actually, there's all throughout San Diego, Planet Fitness. But come to work out with us, and we'd love to have you. Add somebody else to talk shit to.
10th Planet, Spring Valley, strength and conditioning, 8 o'clock.
Sean Conahan, you said that you were interested, so now you're on the list. You're our next prospect. But good luck this weekend. We're going to be out there, Burbank. If you make it to the fight, hit us up and let us know you're there, and we'll get some drinks.
Thanks a lot for having me, guys. I really appreciate everything, man. I had a great time.
Cool. You got it. Hey, guys, this is Sean and Derek, and we just really want to thank you for listening to the podcast. It means the world to us. We'd like you to go check out BehindTheSmokeMedia.com. That's our website where we have barbecue resources for you to help build your barbecue business. We also have events listed, so anything that's happening in the West Coast barbecue movement, anything that's going on, we want you to go check that out so you can learn more and get involved. We also have show notes from all the episodes, so anything we talked about in the episodes, you can find detailed show notes there. Plus, you can just get in touch with us. It's important that we're here as a resource for you. So please reach out. Let us know how Derek and I can help you with your barbecue journey. Get involved, stay curious, and follow us on social at Barbecue War Stories. We'll talk to you soon.